what can I say? This is where we came in, and this is where we're going out for the very last time after 50 years. Home into a new era. Alan has left the building. But not just the building, a home, a beach house, a holiday home weekender that was in our family for over 50 years. And now the time has come to leave and let it go into the hands of people, really nice people, who will appreciate it. But let's go back to the beginning. Here we are in 2006 getting the house ready for sale. But let's go back to the 1st of April 1961. And Dad has just bought this block of land at auction, a government auction. That's me to the right of the picture and my brother just beyond the car on the left marking the block. Back in the 1950s, Dolphin Point, the entrance of Burrill Lake, was very just bush. That building in the distance is the local sawmill, and that remained for quite a while. And here in the early 60s, you can see the roads that have been put in getting ready for the auction. And once again, here's that shot, but showing more of the block of land that my father bought for a whole £450. Here is the block cleared. Dad was going to cut the trees down, got through one tree, that was enough, and the bulldozer did the rest. Dan Foster was the local builder who built our place, and he built it up to a second story because that's what Dad wanted. We needed to see over the single story in front of us. Here we are getting ready to have a barbecue on the 14th of July 1962. That's my grandmother, mother, sister and me. Slowly the house progressed through 1962 to a stage where the stairs went on the back and the fibro, the notorious fibro, went on the walls. The outside walls and on the roof. But we were happy we were getting a second house built. Reason being, Dad was a very keen rock fisherman, and the area there at Dolphin Point was a very good place to fish. And he was one of these guys that just believed in going to the one spot all the time. The fish were always biting. Here we are, we're getting the area around the house clean, the backyard tidying up. Look, we even used, that's me there with the lawnmower, very industrious. The house cost $4,000, a lot of money in those days. The front blocks went for £500, $1,000. Now, today, you'd be lucky to buy a house on that front block for less than $1 million. There I am with my nice little hat with my Aunt Daphne, my sister Diane and brother Ken. Slowly, the other houses on the estate started appearing, and it was a great place to have a holiday. We could look down to the entrance to Burrill Lake, and that's when we had the view. It was beautiful. Here we are, packed up and ready to come back home in February 63, posing proudly by our weekender, and there's our water tank. And that little white sign I still have, it has our lot number on and name. Here's Dad doing a pose by the car. I'm sitting in the back, Mum in the front. Here's another time when Dad's parents were there. That's the lady in the red top and my grandfather poking around the corner there with his glasses on. That's me sitting on the front step, my sister standing beside me, and here we are inside the house. Mum, Sister Diane, Grandma, Pop, myself, eyes closed, and Brother Ken. And here we are posing again. Yes, they were the bright, innocent days of the 60s and early 70s. Only remaining photographs of Pop and Grandma, Dad's parents. The surrounding area of our weekend was clear for a number of years, except for the house in front. Very nice people there. But these views that we once treasured, across to the caravan park camping area there, the safe swimming entrance of Burrill Lake, the magnificent sandhills and sand spit. But people, of course, started building on their blocks of land, and this place here is the son-in-law's place of our neighbour in front. All very nice people. Dad climbed up on the roof the weekend to take that. And here's Dad doing what he liked to do best besides fishing, and then sitting out in the sun. But a very small back balcony there. Here we are posing once again. Dad took plenty of photos to keep a good record of our weekender. We can see the house being built across the road. We can see the cars that we had. My brother had now inherited the family Vauxhall. And these were visitors that we had as well from Dad's printing industry friends. Trees went down and houses went up, and this was our last remaining view of the lake until this house got built. Unfortunately, you were allowed to build basically a two-storey place in the front row, which didn't do well for the people behind and then the people behind us. Here's my sister and I having a go at clearing the backyard. We still had that view down between the two places. That was a right-of-way view, and Dad finally got around to getting a balcony put on the back of the weekender, which made a big difference. One of the great shots, how she used to be our $1 million view, but vastly different in the end. Here's a big fire that took place on the headland. I think it must have been a particular burn off. Most of the trees were dead anyway, but it was very spectacular, and of course Dad photographed it. So here's Diane, Ken and his soon-to-be fiancée Yvonne coming back from the beach. There's Diane on the balcony, and we are getting that backyard under control. And here's another happy snap in the late 60s, good feed of prawns, and there's Pop and Grandma Bond. And Pop always thought it'd be funny if I took some film footage of he, Dad, Ken and Diane walking down the stairs so that I could show the film backwards and show them walking up the stairs, which of course now I can quite easily do in Final Cut Pro. I'm sure Pop is having a chuckle somewhere. And here they are getting ready to leave Grandma Bond there, being helped by Dad to their car. Yes, certainly things have changed. And here's Pop leaving. He wanted to act out leaving and waving his hand, and drove in the wrong direction because he wanted to be filmed from the driver's side. Look at the quality in film. Here's Mum on the balcony and a nice shot of the weekend, the water tank and the view around us. And here's some lovies, lobsters, my brother caught down on the rocks with his lobster pots. Of course, we have the prawns, something that I enjoyed catching too, eating as well. Overall, we could see how the weekender was on Dolphin Point with all those bushes around. And here we are looking to the west. That's Pigeon House Mountain there in the background. Grandma Marrett, Mum's mum, she paid the money to have a downstairs unit built underneath the weekender. And here Dad, ever careful, taking shots, keeping a record of this building going on underneath. I can't even remember this section, but here we see the weekender as it was, water tank, balcony, no unit, and then we get the water on, so there's no water tank, the unit's underneath, and we are getting a more and more substantial home against a dramatic sky. Yes, we went from this in the early 60s to this in the late 60s, early 70s. Still, we managed to keep our view there, but those trees were growing. And so here in the early 70s, we still had that beautiful outlook. One of the last photographs of Pop and Grandma Bond together, this was in the early 70s, and Pop passed away just a few years later. And here's the weekender as it progressed. We still had the tower there for the water tank, which had long gone, and everything. The lawn was growing well in the backyard. Everything looked really pretty. Here we are getting ready to go down to the beach again. Ah, what a life. And there's our view, and as you can see, those trees are starting to get a bit bigger again. Here we're seeing some Rellos off at Christmas time. That's me with my Bolex Zoom 8mm camera. And once again, there's our sort of layabout luxury. I don't know why the edgings were painted that colour, but that was there. I guess he wanted a bit of a change. And soon there would be a change because the fibro ended up getting colour bond cladded. Here we're seeing some more people off for the Christmas time. Oh, by God, those trees are growing, and look how big they were starting to grow. Planted by our neighbour, just not realising how big they would be. Mum and Dad passed away in the early 2000s, and this was all the view that was left for them to see before they went. However, as time progressed with us, we were able to get some of the trees cut back quite extensively, like this one, which I cut back with my little chainsaw one Easter. In the early 90s, Mum and Dad got a sunroom and balcony added on at the back because the cretin next door built his house right down the block, and 25 years later is still building it, but it blocked our view of the ocean. But come 2010, times are changing. Mum and Dad had passed on 10 years earlier, and it was time to move on because we no longer use the beach house. So we decided to put it on the market. There's Mum relaxing in the sunroom where she liked to read and rest and watch TV sometimes. The house was sold in 2012, so here's a look around the last time to see furniture in the house before it started being removed over the next few days. May not seem much, but it's a lasting memory. And I think all people can identify with that type of fond memory of the house they grew up in. Dad put those mirrors on the wall so wherever he sat at the dining table he could see the view. Yes, a real beach shack. Even the fishing rods were used for decoration. Ah yes, the second bedroom. You'll hear a little bit more about this room later on. The main bedroom, Mum and Dad's old room, still with furniture in it and recording for history.
And there's the final one. It's from the second bedroom. Alley-oop. Oh, he's got it down to a fine art. Down to a fine art. Right all goes.
So just like that, there goes part of the 50 years of our family history. There on the back of a truck to go to the Ulladulla waste transfer recycling place. Just like that.
The last farewell.
So now from across the road, we look to see what there is and what there used to be through comparison shots from over the years. Looking very nice in both aspects, but heavily built out around and too many tall trees. Yes, what there is and what there was.
Through this door we first came. On this floor, Ken, Diane and I slept. Dad always remembered it because he said Diane fell out of bed. Mum and Dad's room. Many memories empty now for the boys. Where the double bunk stood and a room around that. Now gone. Bathroom and loo, pantry. $50 years. Oh, who could forget the unique kitchen, sort of. But it's not a kitchen. It's a kitchen. Just ain't got a stove. And our tiny little water heater, the original. Poly floorboards that will soon be sanded and cleaned. The shelves where Dad put all these Scotch bottles. And out to the sunroom. Oh, where I showed movies. And Mum and Dad sat, family sat, last 20 years or so. Empty now. All empty. Now for a view. Harris's, Roberts.
dickhead next door with his block-long monstrosity.
And the balcony that certainly needs replacing. But Scott is keen. And then we travel downstairs. The unit. Grandmama's. Very empty with the floor tiles. And this will be used well. Oh dear. Shower. Everything. Scott is keen to get into this and fix all this up. Water coming in from the back. What a cameo appearance. All supposed to come out from Andrew. First, and then they'll do a good job. In the old garage, where Dad tried to dig out the ground and it was hard as a rock. There I am, the gates are closed, I'm parked out the front. Around at the backyard. Remembering of the times. It may be the end of the Bond era, but a new start for a new family who'll do up the place and hopefully cherish it as much as we will, or did, and still do through the photographs and videos. And we look at the hedges. And wonder how it will go. I understand the new owner, Jane, is a keen gardener. So she should love our lady Fern that grew up from nowhere. All these petunias that I put in. And so, final time. We came up. Walk through the place and come to the front door.
What else can I say? This is where we came in.